Imagine waking up one morning and feeling as though your own body has turned against you. Your legs quiver with every step, your arms feel weighed down by invisible chains, and the simplest actions like reaching for a glass of water drain every ounce of energy you have. Let me be direct with you. That overwhelming muscle fatigue is not a punishment for growing older. It is the result of a silent, destructive routine you have been repeating daily, completely unaware that it has been chipping away at your muscular strength bit by bit, hour by hour. And here is what makes it even more terrifying. This process of muscular decay is occurring right now in real time as you sit there watching this video. There is no sharp pain to warn you, no obvious symptom to alarm you, no red flag waving in front of your eyes. It happens quietly, stealthily, until the day arrives when you can no longer perform the most fundamental tasks, like walking to the bathroom unassisted or pushing yourself up from your bed without someone else's help. So, what is driving this decline? It is a single everyday behavior that appears entirely innocent on the surface. Yet it is actively fueling a medical crisis we refer to as sarcopenia, the steady, relentless erosion of your muscle tissue and physical power. And you are not alone in this. Across the globe, millions of older individuals are trapped in the same downward spiral. I am Dr. Mandell, and in this session I am going to walk you through the 10 most destructive habits that are robbing you of your vitality and muscular strength without your conscious knowledge. We will go through them in order, saving the absolute worst for last. And I promise you, the very first one on this list will catch you off guard because it is something countless people do on a daily basis, fully convinced they are doing the right thing for their health. So let us dive into something that carries enormous weight. Sarcopenia is not an inevitable byproduct of aging. It is a clearly defined medical condition officially recognized by the world's foremost health authorities. And contrary to what the vast majority assume, this loss of muscle mass and power does not suddenly appear at age 60, 70, or 80. It can take root decades earlier, even before you hit your 40th birthday, if you fail to adopt proactive measures to defend your muscle health. With that foundation laid, we arrive at the pivotal question you must confront. What specific actions are you taking every single day that are actively undermining your muscular system? Let us examine habit number 10. Remaining seated for prolonged stretches without any movement. This practice appears completely harmless on the surface, yet it ranks among the most damaging contributors to muscle deterioration over the long haul. And the most insidious aspect is that its impact remains virtually invisible during the early phases of sarcopenia. Consider this. A growing body of recent scientific research has demonstrated that sitting for more than 6 hours each day without getting up or engaging in any physical motion significantly hastens the erosion of muscle tissue in older populations, compromises their equilibrium, and heightens their susceptibility to dangerous falls. In fact, the damage inflicted by this sedentary behavior can be every bit as detrimental to your physiology as smoking a pack of 10 cigarettes daily. Reflect on this startling finding and proceed with caution, because even if you dedicate time to exercise every single day, if you then spend the remainder of your daylight hours parked in a chair with minimal movement, your muscles are receiving a loud and persistent signal: you are not utilizing me. And over an extended period, this promotes an accelerated breakdown of muscle fibers, particularly in your legs, glutes, and lower spine. As I repeatedly emphasize to my patients, a single hour of physical exertion cannot undo the harm caused by 10 hours of stillness. Now, the encouraging news is that correcting this habit does not demand grueling workout regimens. All it takes is a conscious shift to embed movement into your daily rhythm. Stand up from your sofa every 40 to 60 minutes. Perform simple stretches right where you are. Execute a few body weight squats while steadying yourself with a chair or a wall. Rise onto the balls of your feet 20 to 30 times to activate your calf muscles. This represents your initial victory in breaking the vicious cycle that paves the way to sarcopenia and reliance on others for basic mobility. But stay alert, because the next habit is even more corrosive to your muscular health. It does not matter whether you are young or old, or whether you consider yourself in good shape. Habit number 9 is getting insufficient or poor quality sleep less than 7 hours per night. Sleep is a natural, powerful therapy that preserves the robustness and resilience of your muscles. Here's what happens during the deep phases of sleep. Your body does more than just rest. It undertakes critical repair work, balances hormone production, and reconstructs the muscle fibers that sustain damage throughout your waking hours. Consequently, if you consistently log fewer than 7 hours of nightly shutty, this vital restoration process gets disrupted. The shortage of deep sleep curtails the release of growth hormone, which even past the age of 60 remains absolutely essential for muscle vitality. Without adequate rest, your body gradually sheds muscle tissue. And listen closely to this next point. The harm occurs irrespective of whether you eat a pristine diet and exercise on a regular basis. A fact that escapes most people is that muscles are stimulated during physical activity, but they actually grow and heal while you are asleep. Moreover, the exhaustion stemming from poor sleep drains your motivation to move and work out, leading to even greater muscle deterioration and discomfort due to incomplete recovery. Now, can you bolster your muscle health by improving your sleep patterns? The answer is an unequivocal yes, but there are some crucial nuances I want to share with you, so absorb these recommendations. First, strive for 7 to 8 hours of sleep during the nighttime hours, because daytime rest does not offer the same restorative benefits. Second, avoid screens and bright lighting for at least 2 hours before you intend to fall asleep. Third, cultivate a soothing pre-sleep ritual such as soaking in a warm bath or enjoying some light reading material. Fourth, if you find yourself waking repeatedly through the night, take a hard look at your eating and drinking habits, as they could be the root cause, a topic I will delve into with the next habit. Now, what is the value of sleeping soundly if throughout the day we inundate our bodies with substances that provoke inflammation and muscle damage? Let us now explore how your dietary choices can be every bit as harmful as sleep deprivation. Habit number 8, failing to ingest adequate amounts of high-quality protein. This is one of the most widespread and hazardous mistakes I observe in elderly individuals. As we advance in years, our bodies actually demand more protein, not less. Yet many people cut back on their consumption of meat, eggs, legumes, or dairy products due to digestive issues, misguided advice, or entrenched habits. The consequence of this protein shortfall is that your muscles are deprived of the fundamental raw materials they require to mend themselves and maintain their strength, thereby hastening the loss of muscle tissue. It is akin to attempting to erect a house without any bricks. And this is a critical point. It is not solely about the volume of protein you consume, but also its quality. The most beneficial and readily absorbed proteins come from animal origins, eggs, fish, meat, plain yogurt, as well as plant-based sources like chickpeas, quinoa, soy, and nuts. By incorporating a diverse array of these into your diet, you can attain a very well-rounded amino acid profile. The key is to ensure that every main meal includes at least one portion of protein rather than leaning exclusively on carbohydrates like bread and white rice, which is a common pattern in many traditional diets among the elderly. And here is a detail that remains unknown to many. When muscle frailty progresses and sarcopenia takes hold, your muscles begin to ache, prompting some individuals to reach for pills, pain relievers, or anti-inflammatories under the illusion that this fixes the issue. However, what they fail to realize is that these drugs, when misused or taken over extended periods, can inflict even greater harm on their muscles. That is precisely what I will address now. And what you are about to learn will fundamentally transform your approach to managing muscle pain. Habit number 7, the excessive reliance on anti-inflammatory drugs and painkillers like ibuprofen, diclofenac, naproxen, or acetaminophen. These medications are readily available without a prescription and are consumed as casually as candy. Yet very few individuals are aware that their overuse accelerates sarcopenia and silently degrades muscle tissue. How does this happen? Prolonged use of anti-inflammatory agents interferes with certain natural physiological processes that are essential for muscle growth and repair. In essence, these remedies may numb the pain, but they also impede your body's capacity to adapt, heal, and grow stronger. Furthermore, the abuse of such drugs can damage your liver, kidneys, and stomach lining, which in turn diminishes the absorption of vital nutrients required to sustain healthy muscles. And that is not the end of it. Frequently, chronic muscle pain is triggered by something far more common and dangerous: poor nutrition. This is because there are specific foods that incite inflammation and exhaustion within the body. And without realizing it, many individuals are essentially poisoning themselves daily. In the upcoming habit, I will unveil the worst dietary offenders that gradually destroy your muscles. Some of these items appear at breakfast, dinner, or even in products marketed as healthful alternatives. Habit number 6, consuming foods that actively degrade your muscles. This category includes soft drinks, processed meats, cured sausages, white bread, and refined flours. Also, fast food, fried items, vegetable seed oils, industrial sweets and pastries, and naturally excessive alcohol, energy drinks, and light products laden with artificial sweeteners. All of these share a common characteristic. They disrupt your gut microbiota and impair nutrient absorption. They supply abundant calories but offer virtually no essential nutrients for your muscles. These are inflammatory agents that drain your energy and contribute nothing to the repair and upkeep of your muscular health. And here is a reflective question for you. How many of these items are currently sitting in your pantry or refrigerator at this very moment? Very well. The next habit will demonstrate that even if your diet is on point, if you neglect this other crucial element, you may continue losing muscle strength without any awareness whatsoever. Habit number 5, steering clear of strength training exercises. As people age, many shy away from this type of physical activity because they deem it unnecessary, overly strenuous, or likely to provoke pain. However, adopting that mindset represents one of the gravest errors you can commit. Strength training, whether through lifting weights, utilizing resistance bands, or leveraging your own body weight, is indispensable for preserving, reinforcing, and even reversing the decline in muscle mass at any stage of life. This is because as we grow older, the body forfeits between 3% and 8% of its muscle mass every decade following age 30. And this escalation in loss magnifies the risk of falls and fractures. By dedicating just 30 minutes to strength training exercises 2 to 3 times per week, older adults can markedly enhance muscle quality, fortify bone density, and successfully combat sarcopenia. All of this contributes to alleviating joint pain, reducing fatigue, and diminishing dependence on others. Therefore, if you are avoiding strength training out of fear or a misguided belief that it protects your body, you are actually speeding up the progression of sarcopenia. And now comes a pivotal question. Could there be an even more severe oversight you are committing? Let us examine it right now. Bad habit number 4, failing to maintain proper hydration. Hydration is absolutely critical for the optimal functioning of your muscles. Think of your muscles as an engine. They require not only fuel, but also a lubricant to operate smoothly. That lubricant is water. When you do not consume enough fluids, your muscles forfeit flexibility and their ability to recover from exertion. This can lead to cramps, persistent muscle pain, and stiffness. Additionally, inadequate hydration impairs blood circulation, which slows the delivery of nutrients to your muscles, leaving them weaker and more susceptible to discomfort. Furthermore, many individuals overlook the fact that water is also essential for staving off bone deterioration. Today we understand that dehydration accelerates conditions like osteoporosis alongside sarcopenia. Are you drinking sufficient water to keep your muscles robust? Keep in mind that the general guideline is to drink enough so that your urine remains clear and your stools stay soft. Alternatively, if you prefer a straightforward calculation, multiply your body weight in kilograms by 30, and the resulting number is the milliliters of water you should aim for each day. But be cautious. Not all beverages hydrate equally. Coffee, herbal teas, sodas, and alcohol can actually dehydrate you further and exacerbate the problem. Very well. We have now arrived at the 3 most damaging habits that sap your muscle strength. In third place, we have the daily consumption of refined sugar. Even though we all recognize that this product is detrimental to our health, very few people truly grasp its profound impact on muscle mass. When we ingest sugar found in soft drinks, processed juices, white bread, and pastries, we trigger an insulin surge that not only disrupts glucose regulation, but also interferes with muscle repair and promotes chronic inflammation. Over time, this inflammatory state weakens both your muscles and your bones, once again accelerating sarcopenia. This means that even if you exercise diligently and sleep adequately, your muscles fail to regenerate properly and age prematurely. My counsel as a nutritionist is this: if nature did not produce it, seriously question whether it is genuinely healthful, especially if it comes wrapped in plastic packaging and boasts an extensive list of ingredients with unpronounceable names. You know exactly the ones I mean. I suggest swapping ultra-processed items for more natural alternatives, such as fresh fruits, nuts, and seeds. Now, let me pose a question to you. Have you ever considered the impact that a substandard breakfast has on your muscles? This brings us to harmful habit number 2, skipping breakfast, or even worse, consuming an inadequate breakfast. When you forego breakfast or choose a nutritionally poor option, like just coffee and bread, for example, the consequences for your muscles can be quite severe. If your first meal of the day is packed with simple carbohydrates and almost no nutrients, it directly disrupts your metabolism and your body's capacity to repair itself. Conversely, if you habitually decide to skip breakfast, your body enters an energy conservation mode. By failing to supply the appropriate nutrients, your muscles are deprived of what they need to stay robust. And over time, they begin to lose mass, especially when combined with all the other mistakes we have already discussed. The most troubling part is that many individuals opt for breakfasts like milky tea or sweetened coffee with bread and jam offerings that deliver nothing but empty sugars and lack the proteins and healthy fats essential for maintaining muscle mass. The remedy is to make a minor adjustment to what you place on your plate. Prioritize foods rich in high-quality protein, such as 2 to 3 whole eggs, Greek yogurt, or a piece of chicken breast, which actively support muscle regeneration. Also, be sure to incorporate healthy fats, avocado, nuts, and olive oil, which are crucial for overall wellness and vitamin uptake. And complex carbohydrates found in whole oats, unpeeled fruits, and whole grain bread provide sustained energy without triggering blood sugar or insulin spikes, while also supplying dietary fiber to regulate your digestive system. Now, direct your full attention here because we have reached the absolute worst habit of them all. It is extraordinarily common, and 8 out of every 10 older adults are guilty of it. Habit number 1, neglecting regular medical checkups. The majority of people avoid visiting the doctor because they feel perfectly fine. But this is a grievous miscalculation. Ailments such as hypertension, diabetes, elevated cholesterol, kidney dysfunction, liver disease, and even vitamin D deficiency can advance without any obvious early indicators. And when symptoms eventually surface, the damage may already be extensive and far more challenging to treat. Individuals who have never had their vitamin D levels tested may be deficient, which compromises muscle strength, bone integrity, and even immune function. Similarly, many people continue taking medications for years without reviewing whether they are still necessary or whether superior alternatives exist. In addition, many neglect annual deworming protocols, which exacerbates inflammation. Parasites can reside in your body undetected, producing no symptoms, yet siphoning off nutrients and weakening your overall health. My strong recommendation is to consult your physician and undergo appropriate medical evaluations without waiting for illness to strike. A straightforward blood panel, blood pressure reading, medication audit, and general health screening can make a monumental difference. Do not postpone action until symptoms manifest. Do you know what the worst habit truly is? It is ignoring the dangers that remain invisible to your